Don't just document what's going on with the child, label it. And so we know that bad mouthing, limiting contact, interfering with communication, interfering with symbolic communication, withdrawal of love, telling the target parent that, telling the child that the target parent doesn't love them, forcing the child to choose, making sure that we're not just saying that the child did not come, but looking back and labeling what it was that actually happened. Was there interference with communication? What did that look like? Was the child allowed to call the parent or return the parent's calls? Was the child allowed to come to on visitation, or um, was there interruption of that? Some other things that you can have specifically labeled in terms of the child's behaviors and tactics that are being used is the child is asked to spy on the target parent? Is the child asking to keep things secret from the target parent? Referring to that target parent by their first name, referring to them as mom, the stepdad as mom or dad, or encouraging the child to call mom or dad, use that name for someone else that is living with one of the parents. Withholding information, getting things changed on documents at the school, on their sports activities, cultivating dependency and confiding in the child. All of these things are forcing a child to reject one of the parents and can lead to alienation. Again, like as is true with all other abuses, in and of itself, it may be bad behavior, but combined with 5 or 6 different tactics that are being used and different indicators um, of, of, of parental alienation, they sum up to indicating that there is more going on. And so making sure that we're not just documenting what the child did or said, but specifically it was this tactic being used, and making sure that we're able to label that. Using the 5-factor model on these cases, did you have an ongoing relationship with this child prior to, and what changed? And so when we try to find the basis based on the science and the research, we look at the 5-factor model. So start in your case earlier on preventatively by keeping check of that. Is there a contact refusal? Was there a prior positive relationship with you? Is there an absence of abuse and neglect? So we know that if there's been abuse and neglect, or there's been a period of time with no contact, perhaps reunification is important, because that child needs to be reintroduced based on some previous behaviors. But if there has not been abuse and neglect, that's one of the factors we look at: an absence of that abuse and neglect, and decreased contact with that parent. Are the alienating behaviors of the preferred parent there? And is the child manifesting some of the symptoms that we talked about of parental alienation?